Good afternoon, David Winker here, and I am so glad to be here with an important message. I'd like to introduce my guests and get into why we're here. Let me start with you, Bruce.
Hi, everyone. Bruce Jacobs. I am excited to be here too to talk about the end of the year celebration we're going to have for Gables Boy Scout Girls Troop. It's going to be next Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the Coral Gables Scouthouse, which is 1107 South Greenway Drive in Coral Gables, right at the Granada Golf Course. It's the end of the year program. We're going to be actually installing. I'll be the new scoutmaster for the girls' troop.
Well, before we get into that, I think let's unpack it a little bit because I'm here with my daughter, and I am definitely feel a beneficiary of the opening of BSA, Boy Scouts of America, to girls.
Yeah, it's a couple of years old, right?
Yeah, can you give us a little background on when that happened and what's happening with that?
So it was about 4 years ago. We started the first girl troop in Coral Gables, one of the first girl troops in the country. We have one of the first Eagle Scouts that made it through the program here.
Female
Girl Scout.
Eagle
Basically, the Boy Scouts opened up the program to girls. So girls are now going for Eagle Scout. They are going for first class. They're going on high adventure campouts and whitewater rafting and all kinds of fun activities. They're earning their advancements. They're earning their merit badges just like the boys do. And the fun thing is that it turns out the girls are actually really good at this. So they're moving along fast. They're getting themselves into a lot of fun. It's a girl-led program that we do here in Coral Gables, so the girls decide what to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. Our job as scoutmaster and assistant scoutmasters, which, by the way, David Winker has agreed to be an assistant scoutmaster for the girls troop as well. The idea is to let them show leadership and create their agenda and go and achieve what they need to achieve to advance through the program.
So with that, I want to get to the girls and talk about their experience. But one thing to be clear about is when we joined, I was talking to my daughter about it 2 or 3 years ago. At that age, at 7 years old, my daughter's now 10, it was a joint troop.
Yeah.
Up until a certain age, it is a true co-ed group.
So the PAC, which is up to age 11,
which is PAC 7.
PAC 7 in Coral Gables, has been traditionally just boys and girls together. But when they get into the troop, is something that we're going to have next week at this end of the year celebration, is the crossover for my daughter Alexa's one of the crossovers that are going to be leaving the PAC and graduating into the troop.
So just to break it down, so from the age, I guess, what do we start at, 5 years old?
5 years old are the lions, and then there's tigers and bears and wolves and webelos and arrows of light.
So pretty much through 10, 11 years old, and
right.
Then they move on. So let me, and one thing I just want to be clear about what we're talking about is, so I remember the first time I saw it, a lot of people aren't aware of it, but Merrick, as part of the city plan, gave a Boy Scouts clubhouse.
The Scout House.
The Scout House.
100 years ago, when they were developing the city of Coral Gables, George Merrick, who was the founder and the leader of that whole endeavor, donated land in the Granada Golf Course, right by where the maintenance people are. And we have a Scout House that once was a log cabin, and then it burned down, and they rebuilt it. And it has been in the Coral Gables troop and PAC for 100 years.
It is honestly, if you haven't been there, it's one of the coolest things in South Florida. Like, it is such a cool place to be. The vibe is there. We've camped there. I mean, it's an amazing space.
I mean, it is, on the golf course. It is a house that we can run the meetings for the PAC. We can run the meetings for the troop. We can run the meetings for the girls troop. And it's our home. and we have celebrations there, and we have parties
And I want to
there.
get into, we're going to get into the celebration in a second, but let's talk to these girls about what their experience is. I'd like for both of you to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to ask some questions about Scouts. So can we start with you, Alexa?
My name's Alexa. I'm currently in the 5th grade. I'm 10 years old, and I go to Coconut Grove Elementary.
And where are you going to school next year?
Carver.
And when did you start with the troop?
I like to say before I was born.
Because you were in your mom's belly.
Yeah.
And you have some older brothers who are still in Scouts, correct?
Yes.
And you're okay. So you're going to Carver next year.
Yes.
As a 6th grader.
Yes.
And who are you?
Hi, my name's Cristina Winker, and I'm 10 years old, and I'm in 4th grade, and I go to Sunset Elementary.
And where are you going next year?
5th grade.
This-
In the same school.
That's and tell me about, and I'm gonna get ready because I'm gonna ask you, Alexa, the same question. But what do you enjoy about Scouts?
I enjoy like the camping trips, and one time we went to like a national park, and we did like BB gun shooting.
Yeah, I have to tell. It's interesting because what was it called? The Jamboree. It was the Webelow Jamboree.
Right.
What's the name of that park? That's
Camp Elmore.
At Camp Elmore, and it was interesting because to see it was rock climbing, shooting
BB guns.
shooting BB guns, shooting bows and arrows,
Right.
and
Fishing.
to see my daughter had never shot. I mean, it's a gun, it's a BB gun, but she'd never done it before, and it was so eye opening to get to experience all this stuff and do it. It was great, and Alexa, I want to ask you the same question. What are some of your great memories of going through? I guess like going through the pack. Now you're going into the troop, but your memories of the pack.
Members of the pack would be, so we would do a camp out at Kennedy Space Center where we would get to sleep under a space shuttle, which was really fun. I've done it a few times. It's really cool.
And as you said earlier, you were the only one in your family. I was there, and I can attest to this. You were the only one in your family that did not pop their air mattress.
Did not pop my air mattress.
I popped my
Everybody
air
else-
mattress. It popped.
It was so funny.
And tell me more, because we did a Thanksgiving dinner,
We did.
and then I want to talk about something that surprised me that my daughter loved, which was you learn knife skills in carving soap.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting. And of course, there's a big emphasis on safety, but my daughter really enjoyed the carving of that. The other thing is that, and I have never kept the statistics, but I think the girls are better at it than the boys.
Oh,
Like the building.
I've seen a lot of
I agree with
of
you.
evidence that girls are really, really good at the scouting program.
The soapbox, the
Pinewood
Pinewood Derby, where you make the little cars. So the kids have to make the little cars, and it's a square. Just make sure a lot of people did this as kids. It's a square block of wood, and you can pretty much do anything you want to it. It's just got to have 4 wheels stuck to it,
And wave
and they
out.
race it in this like this incredibly scientific way, right? It's a track, it's electronically timed and everything. And I have loved seeing the kids. You want to see creativity? See these kids sit down, draw the shape, and of course the adults carve up. You take it on the lathe and kind
Right.
of carve it up. What they make. They're sticking pennies to them, the weights, everything. It's absolutely amazing. And you have something to say about
And
that?
also, we get to spray paint the cars in whatever color we want. And sometimes we get to add like Sharpie coloring and like coloring on them.
So one of the things that I want to celebrate you guys for is I've been a den leader now in the pack for years, and I took Alexa and I have watched Christina grow in the pack, and there's a lot of opportunities to do lots of fun things. And to me, what I'm excited to have you guys here to talk about is what's going to be happening as we get into the troop. because Alexa's crossing over. You're going to be becoming an arrow of light, which is the highest level of the pack. And we're going to have you guys be involved in the girls' troop going forward. And it's for girls ages 11 through 17. And there is a whole, they call it a game with a purpose. That's the whole idea of scouting, is that you're in this big game, and the purpose is to get through the program. And there's ranks that you can earn, from unranked to scout to tenderfoot to second class, first class, star, life, eagle. And I have one of my sons, my oldest son, Dylan, is an Eagle Scout. And it's opened up all kinds of doors for him. And God willing, will continue to do that. And that's an opportunity for girls now, too. It used to be that girls couldn't make Eagle Scout. They just wasn't part of the program. But there's also merit badges in scouting, which you guys haven't had a chance to do in the pack, but you'll get a chance to do in the troop. And merit badges is all about, like, you want to learn about nuclear fission, there's a merit badge for that. You want to learn about leather work, there's a merit badge for that. Canoeing, camping, personal fitness, personal finance, the citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world, citizenship in the community, all these different merit badges, which are basically like small courses that you take, and they give you a real good understanding. Horsemanship, didn't you just go for horsemanship?
I did do horsemanship.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so horsemanship. We arrived at like 1 o'clock, and we immediately went into
Where'd you
learning. Redwood Farm Center.
It was a place where they had horses, right?
Yeah, it was where they had horses. So we would go, we get to the farm, and immediately they made you sign a waiver and go into this class. And the class was like, what kind of horses are there? What colors could they be? It was all these fun questions about it. And we had a great time. And then eventually we got to ride the horses. We got to clean them, brush them, watch them play in their pens. We got to feed them a little bit. And we had a lot of fun, and we were productive doing it.
So I think that that's a great example of the type of adventures that we're looking to have for the girls' troop in the coming year, because everyone got a chance to brush the horses. They got a chance to learn about. Did you put the saddle on the horse?
We did get to put the saddle on the horse.
I've never saddled a horse before.
We tied all the knots, everything together.
Did the horse like getting the saddle on?
It didn't really care at all. It was
fine.
Just standing there, just chilling.
I'm sure the horse was glad that she was going to ride her and not me.
And what time was it? Like AM or PM?
It was in the afternoon.
It was in the afternoon. It wasn't like it was like 30 minutes away. It's not like they're making you travel from Florida to California. It's not that crazy.
So
It's just a little.
So we'd like to invite everyone to come down. It's Wednesday, May 31st, 6 o'clock at the Coral Gables Scouthouse, 1101 South Greenway Drive. It's going to be the end of the year celebration, the advancements for all the people in the pack. All the kids in the pack are going to get their advancements to the next level, and all the belt loops and everything they've achieved. For the crossovers, we're going to have our crossover. We're going to initiate the new scoutmaster and assistant scoutmasters for the girls' troop. And then we're going to have our crossing over, where Alexa and the people that I was the den leader for the Arrow Lights will be crossing over into the boy and the girls' troop in Coral Gables. And what we're going to be talking about is the summer. So normally in the pack, the summer shuts down, right? Like there's no activities for the pack during the summer.
Yeah, it just ends. No
Right.
more.
But
You have to wait.
But in the troop, and the girls' troop in particular, we're looking to have a lot of activities over the summer, Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock every other Saturday, that we can go on a hike, go do pottery, go do
You're going to have
horseback riding.
a bowling suggestion from this one.
A bowling, for sure. Like the idea is whatever the girls want to do, we're going to put it together and make it happen. Because right now we're in a bit of a rebuilding phase. We want to grow this girl troop. It is the only girl troop that's being, what I'm aware, I don't know if there's any other girl troops in the Coral Gables area, but it's the only girl troop that's part of Troop 7 and Pack 7, which has been around for 100 years. And we have the Scout House, and we have a great time and a great program with lots of great parents involved.
Yeah, and I'd encourage everyone to check it out. For me personally, I went just because of people we knew that were there, and it is one of my daughter's favorite things to do. There's something about it. The scouts are balancing a level of like structure and unstructured time that is really the kids really enjoy. They love it. What do you always do at the end?
We
Play
we play Gaga Ball.
the Gaga Ball, which I don't know if the girl troop's gonna do, but
Sure, the girl troop will play Gaga Ball.
And
That's a great
also,
game.
we have Scout Days where we
Troop 7
go.
has a title, best basketball team.
there you go.
Like, I'm not joking.
International champs.
If we go to campouts and it's like everybody comes, we will have Gaga Ball tournaments, and we will see who comes to the top, and it will most of the time be Troop 7 or Troop 719,
That's it. So
which is our troop.
And I want to brag on that for a second, because one of the things that I've done is you were talking about not having saddled a horse before. I've saddled a horse before, but I've also done things I haven't done before. I mean, one of the coolest things we did was in exchange for the troop cleaning up at Bill Baggs, we were able to spend the night at Bill Baggs and camp there. And that was one of the coolest camping trips. Like, no one gets to camp there. We got to camp there because of that. I love the campouts. I love spending the time together. And I'm very passionate about camping in general, but to do it, for families to do it, like you literally just have to show up with your own stuff. The food's there, everyone pitches in, and it's almost like being in a commune for 12 hours to see how everyone comes together to make the village work.
I mean, that's in the pack camping. So just to be clear, the girls that are crossing over into the troop are going to be camping on their own almost. Like, we'll be there, the assistant scoutmasters, the scoutmasters. Our job is to make sure everyone's safe and everyone gets home okay. And the girls will decide their activities for the day, their meals. They will have a quartermaster who will make sure that the food's ready to go. We have equipment. We have, thank God the troop's been around long enough that we have trailer to pull all of the kitchen stuff and the tables and all the cooking utensils. And what I have always really appreciated is when you go camping in the troop, you're seeing these girls independent, working together. And my experience has been that girls seem to be really, really good at doing what needs to be done to make the camp out successful and fun. And I've always seen that their level of preparation, their ability to work together. I don't know if it's just at the age. I think that the girls' troop in Coral Gables is going to be an excellent opportunity for people to come out, girls from ages 11 to 17, and be a part of something. And it's not just the adventures and the camping and all that stuff. They learn about values, about being honest and loyal and
Well, I want to talk
trustworthy.
about that for a second. I want to get into the value system. But my daughter is tapping me. She has something she wants to add to this.
And I forgot to mention that sometimes we have Scout Days where we go to like a baseball game and we get to walk on the field.
The Scout Parade at the Marlins game we did.
I mean, the Scout program gives you opportunities that you don't normally get everywhere else. Like we have done. I mean, just the idea of high adventure camps, right? Like I did with the troop, the boys' troop, maybe 2 years ago, a week-long sailing excursion out of Seabase, out of Key West. We sailed. We took a sailboat for a week, me and another scout leader, and 6 boys, and it was an amazing time. We did a week-long whitewater rafting trip in Summit, which is up north in West Virginia. My wife, who's heavily involved in the troop, she also took our son to go on a 65-mile hike through the desert of Arizona, and just all these opportunities that being in Scouts gives you the ability to enjoy and to see.
And Rich, I want to talk to you about one thing that I've been amazed about. It's like in today's world, a lot of people, it's not having discussions about values is something that is it's become less common to just sit there and do it. And we're lawyers, and I think we're more used to having and sitting and talking about principles of the social contract and how people get along, be it from a marriage to a business relationship or whatever. I mean, we're a little more comfortable with that language, but to be able to sit down with the kids and go through, there's an opening ceremony and they talk about how you treat the environment, how you treat each other, what's your relationship with your fellow citizens. I'd like you to talk to a little bit about that, because I think in law school, you really learn, you get this idea of there's this Constitution, and the United States is different than a lot of countries. We have a lot of people that want to be here because of some of the strengths we have as far as the ideals that we live up to, how we want to treat people. And I love how the Scouts tries to reinforce with these kids from an early age, these are some ideals that are really important to us.
So I think that one of the things that I find as a parent, I do all the time, is I remind my kids about different things that they are saying in all these meetings. Every meeting we have an opening ceremony, there's a Scout oath, and it's on my honor. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And that sounds like a lot of words. When you break it down and we actually sit there and go through with the kids and help them talk about, what does it mean to do my duty to God? What does it mean to do my best? What does it mean to
be morally straight?
To be physically strong. There's so many different conversations that open up from just the Scout oath. Then there's the Scout law.
So they just they let the kid. So do you know Scout law?
Yeah.
Would you say it?
Do it together, guys.
A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Nice job, guys. And think about every one of those words. If you could spend it says in the Scout oath that you'll live by the Scout law. And the Scout law is that you will be all of those different words.
Cheerful,
loyal,
I love just loyal, reverent,
clean. These are life lessons that I think play into molding the future's leaders. The whole idea that you would come through the Scout program, and the goal is not for everyone to be Eagle Scout. That is, I think 5% of all Scouts in the country actually make Eagle Scout. But the goal is to make it to first class, because when you become a first class Scout, you've learned how to manage yourself in just some fundamental ideas of setting goals, achieving them, reporting back, learning from them, growing from them, advancing, and just doing the program. So, we're super excited to have the opportunity to do this in Coral Gables. The program's been around 100 years, and right now we have, I think, a really, really good group.
It's a great opportunity for people to come in. Just remind everyone, it'd be great to stop by. I remember in the past years we've had this party. It's a really good time for people to come in and check out what's happening. And one of the things I wanted to mention was, I love when we have events and the breakfast will be done or the lunch will be done by the troop, right? And I'll happen to walk in the kitchen to get something or whatever, and I see the troop working it out. How are they cooking stuff? And of course, there's supervision. But I love seeing these kids do it. And I think that one of the things as parents, we always want to ignite our kids' passions, right? Expose them to things. And I think the Scouts does a really good job of so often they're doing something they've never done before. Be it sleeping at, I was thinking the other day, sleeping at Stiltsville. I've never slept at Stiltsville.
That was fun.
These kids get to sleep at Stiltsville.
Yeah. Look, there's to me, the point is, if you have a daughter between 11 and 17 who wants to be a part of something, I know you're a little young. You'll be there soon.
No, she wants to say something, but
Okay.
please keep going.
If you have a daughter between 11 and 17 that needs to be out of the house, that needs to put the phone down, that needs to get into opportunities to learn about themselves, to learn about working with teams, to learn about leading teams. I've been involved in this program a very long time. I am super excited that they asked me to be the scoutmaster for the girl troop in Coral Gables. My daughter is crossing over into this program. I'm looking to bring David Winker and other adult leaders in to help us run the program, and we're going to grow it. And we're inviting you all to come be a part of that. And this summer we'll be having activities, we'll be planning activities. So next week, Wednesday the 31st at 6 o'clock, please come down to the Coral Gables Scouthouse, 1107 South Greenway Drive. It's going to be just a nice
And
night.
if you have any questions, just look us up. You can find our numbers easily on the
my number
the
is 305-331-1333. It's pretty easy to remember. 305-331-1333. Bruce Jacobs will be happy to call, happy to take your call and give you whatever information we can. But it's a very cost-effective, meaningful, and powerful program. And we'd like to open up to as many girls who are willing to be involved.
And let me turn it over to, I know these guys have something to say about all this. Go ahead, Alexa.
Okay, so I have had the same person who's helping me through the entire past years of my life. It's my father who has helped me. So when we turn eagle, there is a pin. It's called your mentor pin. This mentor pin you get to give to whoever you want, to whoever has helped you the most, to whoever has been there to push you through hard times and get you to the good times. So I'm putting my pin now in advance to my father.
You better live up to that.
Oh, right.
I love that, Alexa.
This is actually Dylan's pin that I had. I don't know if you can see it anywhere, but this was a pin I got from another scout that made eagle that I was
It's like there's no more higher praise than that. It's just awesome.
and I encourage the adults too, if you are looking to be involved in something that is about giving of yourself and about learning how to better yourself in something. I was never expecting to be involved in scouting. I was not a scout as a kid.
And that's one thing I want to emphasize. You and I were not scouts as kids. And it's interesting. It's an interesting mix of people. I mean, it's the adults that help out are an amazing cross section, and they do include Eagle Scouts, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like
it's
a real mix of people. I did not do Scouts as a child.
You have former scoutmasters, you have former Eagle Scouts, you have former, people that went through the program. Then you have people who show up and never did any of it. And the reality of it is this: it's the whole thing is a volunteer organization, right? Everyone in Troop 7, Pack 7, the girls' troop, everyone is volunteering their time, and I do it because I get a lot out of it. I remember still it was one of the first time we went to NASA, the Kennedy Space Center, and we slept over, and I was sleeping under the Atlantis shuttle, and I had both my boys, Dylan and Drew, my two older kids, were in the air mattress with me, and it was sinking because we had a hole in our air mattress then too, and they were both crushing it on me, and I was kind of just thought they were sleeping. I was on my phone, and all of a sudden Drew looks over to me and goes, "Dad, put your phone away. I want to love you more." And I was like, "Oh, that's and that is what scouting is about. It's about making memories with your family, with your kids, and particularly we're trying to grow the girls' troop. We want it to be a lot of fun, very successful."
So let me turn over because the girls are trying to say a little more. Tell us more.
And-
Sell us on the girls' troop.
And so, normally in the end of scout meetings, we do this. We go like that, and we hold each other's hands, even though we don't know them. And we do squeezing where somebody starts, and then we just
Pass the squeeze.
Yeah.
And we do that in the troop also.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because one of the things that with children, it's so amazing. They make friends easily, but they make friends more easily when there's a common purpose, a common goal. And I find that it's amazing to see the bonds that are done as they do projects together. They figure out things together and they go ahead. Oh, what?
I don't understand.
Alexa had something else to say too.
Okay. So I've been in the troop or pack for a very, very long time. Over 10 years. And I went from not knowing anything, not even know how to speak, to leading packs and by myself with little assistance. And in between, I've led groups as well. It's not like, okay, you need to be at least 2 years into Scouts to do this. That's in the pack, but in pack, it's more of adult-led, adult-run. But in the troop, it's more Scout-led,
You guys actually
run.
run it. I love that.
So I walked into the office once, and I saw a whiteboard. I'm like, hey, what is this? And they're like, oh, that's the girl troop's agenda. And I see pottery, April, fishing, May. I'm like, oh my god, that's really
awesome.
organized.
You guys
It's
get
so
to
much
set those up.
fun. And the fact that we got to choose what we're doing was just amazing because they really they trust you when they put safety into your hands. We have elections of who's doing what because you can't just be like, I'm doing this if five other people want to do it. And we just make it fair, we make it fun.
I love it. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. Bruce, anything else you have?
Just want to make sure everyone knows Wednesday, May 31st, 6 o'clock. We're going to be meeting at the Scouthouse in Coral Gables, 1107 South Greenway Drive. Come enjoy the end of the year celebration, get to know us, get to meet us. Bring your daughters, particularly between 11 and 17. We're going to be talking about the plans for the summer. We're going to make activities the whole summer long so that by the time we come back in the school year, everyone's ready to launch the troop and be very successful, which is what this is all about, making these women successful.
That's great. Well, get your kids out here. Let's go do it. Get them off the screens, and we'll come out. We promise you'll have a good time. Come out and meet everybody. Check us out, and we'll hope to see you next week.
Bye.
Alexa will give you the final word.
Bye.
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 Thanks so much.
Bye,
Oh,
everybody.
we walk in parades.
True.
Sorry to end it now, but we walk in parades.
Bye.
It's a
Oh,
Bye,
lot of
one
fun.
everybody.
more thing.
Take care.
One more thing.
Can we go top golfing in the
Talk to the troop.
You got to talk to the girls.
Girls say yes, we're going.
All right, we promise we're done. Bye.
Thanks so much.